Hey everybody, welcome to your new moon in Pisces reading. I almost didn't do this and then I did it and I almost scrapped it, but I'm gonna do it because I know at least one person needs to hear some of the messages here. So we're gonna do this. I did kind of a makeshift spread, which means that I pulled together some ideas that I found elsewhere and combined them into my own little spread. And it is a Pisces spread, so I wanted to just show you quickly. I'll probably push this back in a minute, but I laid them out in a fish. I don't know if you can really see it, but here's the tails and here's the body. And anyway, that is the spread. Let me just move some things around here really quickly. I have some oracles that I'm going to pull at the end, and I pulled these out like I always do for moon readings from my moon decks. The first one we have is for the new moon in Pisces specifically, and the message is to attune to the divine. Of course, Pisces energy, very dreamy. I am a Pisces, so, obviously I did not want to miss this particular event coming up on the 2nd. So today is probably going to be the 28th when this goes up. So you have a couple days to take this in before the new moon hits. But generally, any reading I do for the moon is going to be, some leeway. There's going to be at least a 2-week period where the messages that come out will apply. So then we have another new moon in Pisces from the other moon deck, and it says meditate and contemplate. Hopefully you're all familiar with the zodiac sign of Pisces. I won't go into too much about, the energies and characteristics of Pisces, but like I said, Pisces is a very dreamy energy. They're known to be very creative. The energy of Pisces itself is creative, it's imaginative, it's, there's a psychic, mysterious, sort of hidden, secretive quality to the sign. It's the 12th sign of the zodiac, so of course it embodies all the different characteristics of all the previous signs of the zodiac. And one reason why Pisces is often referred to as the chameleon of the zodiac, it's also a mutable sign, mutable moon. Nothing is yet set in stone is the message of the mutable moon. And as a mutable sign, as the chameleon of the zodiac, Pisces are very adaptive. They can, well, they're a dual sign, first of all, so they're always swimming in 2 different directions. So they're very elusive, I guess, and like I said, very adaptable to pretty much any situation you put them in. Mutable signs tend to be that way. They're very resourceful, very, resourceful is really the best word I have to encompass all of the mutable signs, but they know how to, get by and compromise, and as a Pisces, I have to say not all Pisces are that way. Not all of us are so flexible and understanding and compromising, but certainly I think most of us are very adaptable and can make use of whatever resources we have available to us to cope with a situation. So the final Moonology card is just about the new moon in general. Doesn't specify a sign, and it says a new start is coming, which ultimately a new start is what the new moon represents, regardless of what sign it's in. So for this spread in particular, I wanted to ask a few questions, but I also wanted to get a general read on the energy of the collective overall, rather than focusing on just these questions in general. So very interesting, and I went and clarified. I'm going to shuffle up this one particular deck, this new deck I'll show you in a little bit, and then you can get a taste of why I do not shuffle on camera. I am very particular about how my cards come out. I shuffle, you know, I always do a pre-shuffle. I pre-shuffled this. I actually spread this. I did a completely different spread, and I thought about it and I was like, I don't want to present this spread. And then I waited and I redid it. I mean, I'm half in, half out on whether or not I want to present this one, but like I said, I think it's important that I do. So the overall energy that came out for the collective overall is the Wheel of Fortune. And I clarified that with the Ace of Wands and the Star. So I laugh because the Ace of Wands is a new beginning. First of all, this is a new beginning represented by passion, inspiration, something very exciting and energetic, broadly speaking. The Star is something, well, it can be healing. It can be something that is aligned with you personally, that is destined for you. Something, honestly, that gets you a lot of attention. It can stand for, you know, like fame and fortune and stardom, literally. But also just, you know, feeling free, feeling in your skin, feeling like yourself, and like I said, feeling aligned with where you are and your situation and where your life is going. And the Wheel of Fortune is literally saying, like, this, there's a turning point. I don't like the way that's showing up on camera. I picked these cards because I think they're very resonant with Pisces energy, with the Pisces aesthetic, I can't speak. This is the Ethereal Visions deck, and I'm clarifying with the Crystal Visions. Anyway, the Wheel of Fortune is literally saying that, you know, fortune, things are turning in your favor. You will have a new beginning because of it, and that beginning will be more aligned with you, who you are. I mean, I don't want to get too specific or too nitty-gritty, but this is a good change in your favor. And it's destined, for that matter. This is, you can't fight the Wheel of Fortune. You can try, but it will inevitably turn, and it's turning for the good. However, I don't think the collective that I'm talking to might see it that way quite yet at this moment, okay? Because in the first position, well, we have, first of all, I decided to do it this way. I got the general energy, and I got what's real and what's not real. Because once again, the Pisces, you know, Pisces energy, the Pisces aesthetic is very, you know, back and forth between the seen and the unseen, the hidden and the obvious, and it's a very dualistic, mysterious energy. Sometimes it can be hard to discern what is real versus what is not real, regardless of whether you're a Pisces or not, right? Some things are just cloudy, and so let's get to that. So what is real? Well, the first card that came out was the Seven of Swords. Once again, I'm not happy with how this is showing up. Maybe it's better if I hold it back here out of the light. So the Seven of Swords, okay? This is the card of the liar, cheater, stealer. I have to say it. It's also a card of planning, looking out for your own self-interests, strategizing, delicately handling or trying to deal with a situation out of some fear that you need to protect yourself, something to that effect. And it's an overzealous energy too, right? Because even in this photo, which I think is the typical depiction, stealing 5 swords. So this person, I can't tell if it's a woman or man or whatever, but you're stealing 5 swords, and what does one person need with 5 swords, right? They can barely carry them. So I clarified the Seven of Swords with the Knight of Pentacles. Now, on the one hand, I think this softens the energy a little bit because the Knight of Swords is also someone who plans. He's very methodical. He's very, calculating, similar to the Seven of Swords in some aspects. He's very slow moving, but he comes up with a plan. I don't want to say that's foolproof, but it's very solid. The assumption is that the plan of the Knight of Pentacles, did I say Pentacles? His plan is going to work. He's going to get to where he's going based on this plan because he's thought about it long and hard, and he's taken his time. And it's very similar to the Seven of Swords. So, on the upside, this could be saying that what's real is perhaps you have done your due diligence and you've planned very strategically, and whatever plan you have is a good one. You've protected your self-interests, and you really put in the work, and I think that it's fair to assume that you will come out on top for the most part. But there is that lingering Seven of Swords energy that is devious somehow. It's not necessarily a straightforward energy. Because you are, in some way, regardless of how we look at it, this card is depicting a theft. And in the traditional card, not so much in this one, you can see in the background that someone's actually witnessing the theft. So there's the implication, and it's on other decks as well, there's the implication that someone has seen the sneaky behavior that this person has been up to, right? But overall, I feel like the positive side of this message for some people out there is that you have a good plan, the plan's going to work, and you will be protected. Your interests will be served. However, if this is speaking to an outside force in your environment, particularly if we're talking about an earth sign, I feel like I need to say, a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo, this could speak to someone else's plan being devious and methodical and perhaps not in your self-interest. So if you, I guess what I would say is if you have suspicions that somebody has plotted against you, has deceived you, or stolen from you, something like this, or cheated, it could very well be that you're right, and that was a very well thought out and calculated plan on their part. So I have to address that. And I'm going to try only to address the things that immediately come to me instead of trying to overanalyze and break down every possibility. So what's not real? The first card that came out is the Five of Cups. This is a card of, regret, sadness, loss. These three cups, he's very upset that these three cups are spilled, right? But this is a perspective. This is just his perspective. He thinks he's lost something, but he hasn't lost everything. There's two cups behind him, right? I clarified it with the Hanged Man. It's a card of sacrifice. It's a card of, kind of martyrdom. But it's also a card of perspective as well. So I feel like, putting them together, that what this is saying is that you feel like you've lost something. You feel like you've made a sacrifice. But really that's just your perspective. This is not real. This is literally in the area of what is not real. So it's really your perspective. You lost three cups, but you still have two. And furthermore, the Hanged Man like I said, which is a card of sacrifice. And that's how I think it fits here with this Five of Cups. The Hanged Man has put himself in this position on purpose. That's another thing I feel the need to point out. He's put himself in this uncomfortable position here of hanging upside down and everything else that's going on in this photo. You know, he's all tied up. His eyes are covered. He can't, well, I guess he can see. He's got one eye that's not really covered. Regardless, he's put himself in this position. So putting these two cards together, I feel like you're putting yourself in the perspective of focusing on the loss, of focusing on whatever it is you've lost here, whatever you are sulking in. And when you choose to change your perspective, to come out of this compromising position that you've gotten yourself into, when you choose to come out of that, you'll see the two cups behind you. It's not three, but it's still two. So you haven't lost everything. And if you just stand up and walk away from that situation, you have two cups. You can find another cup somewhere, right, that isn't spilled. So these two down here are where you need to be protected, and this is where you need, or where you need to be more vulnerable, or where you can be more vulnerable, because that's another thing about Pisces, right? Pisces is the fish. Water signs are known for being emotional and sensitive, but Pisces is the only water sign that doesn't have any protection, outside of the fact that, you know, they have the ability to quickly swim away, and there's two of them and whatever, and they're always kind of, you know, they're always watching each other's six, so to speak. But they don't have protection like the crab does, or the scorpion, right? They don't have an exoskeleton, or whatever you call that. The shell. What do you call that on the skeleton, or on the scorpion? I don't know if it's an exoskeleton or what. I'm going to look it up after this, but anyway, you get the, you know, gist, right? So what you need to be protected from. First card that came out was the Devil. So here we go again. If this is not the first time that you've watched one of my readings, you know that the Devil comes out in just about every reading that I do. So obviously, more often than not, we do need to protect ourselves from the devil, right? I protect myself from the devil every day. I have my rosary. I never take it off. I have my various bracelets. I have sage. I have spray. I have, you know, spiritual oils and whatnot, herbs. So, seems like a no-brainer. We need to protect ourselves from the devil. But why? Well, you could be dealing with a Capricorn. This could be a person. It could be a person who's not a Capricorn and is just very toxic. Or it could be an aspect of yourself or your environment, right? So I clarified. And the first card that came out was the Ace of Cups. So this could definitely be a love situation. It could be somebody you're entangled with. It could be somebody you're just meeting, and maybe you need to avoid that person, or just protect yourself and be, you know, a little standoffish with that person until you get a feel for the situation, depending on what your situation is, right? If you're already in a relationship with that person, I guess you need to protect yourself from them, and hopefully you know what that means. I'll elaborate a little bit further in a second. But the other thing I'd wanted to point out here is that if this is an aspect of you, with the Devil and the Ace of Cups here, this could be your emotions. You could need to protect yourself from your own overly emotional self. I mean, hopefully that's not offensive. But the Ace of Cups is almost always overflowing with water. This is actually less overflowing than typically you would see in a deck, but this is the one I have right here. And water represents emotions. So if you are somebody who is, for some reason, for some situational factor in your life, overly emotional, you might want to see how you can put those emotions in check a little bit to protect yourself, your mental health. If it's an ongoing mental health issue, clearly you need to protect yourself from that as well, right? If it's ongoing. So I clarified this further, and I got the Hierophant. So this could be someone you're married to, especially if you're married to a Capricorn. Maybe it's a Taurus. The Strength card could be a Leo. And the Four of Wands, another card of commitment. So this could definitely be a marriage for at least one person. Now, the Four of Wands, however, and the Strength card as well, both speak to me about stability. So if this isn't a marriage, or even if it is, or if it isn't a relationship, it doesn't matter really to me. These both speak to stability and to maintaining your stability, finding the strength within yourself, trying to navigate a situation as well very carefully, strategically, in fact, sometimes, because I mean, normally on the Strength card, the woman is, putting her hand in the lion's mouth, and it's a crazy idea. It's something that takes a lot of skill to charm a lion to allow you to do that without getting your arm ripped off, right? So it does speak to me about strategy and being very careful, but more so I think this is speaking to stability. Maintaining your stability, your strength, in some sort of situation that is likely making you overly emotional. Could be something controlling, could be something toxic, and overcoming that. As well, the Hierophant, this can speak to, I mean, a number of things. Really, I mean, I guess since I'm going down this road of someone who could potentially be dangerous that you might be involved with, the Hierophant, I mean, that could even speak to like calling in legal authority, legal counsel, any type of counsel. And once again, if this is mental health, well, this could be, psychological counseling as well. So that could have something to do with it, needing to seek the support for your own strength of outside sources of wisdom or institutions of experts. But once again, this could also just speak to a commitment, because a marriage is an institution as well. So I could kind of go either way on what this represents, but I do think it's a dual message here of seeking outside help if that is something you need to have the strength that is required in whatever situation this is, that is, I feel, something low vibe, toxic, emotionally taxing, or potentially a mental health issue that's ongoing. So another important side note I just want to mention, though, is that while you are fighting or battling or whatever it may be, overcoming this energy, the Hierophant speaks to values and morals and I guess just remembering them. So while this person, I mean, if we're echoing off of this Seven of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, which I feel like we could be if we're talking about a dynamic with you and another person, I feel like this card is saying, in that case, you play by the rules, you seek appropriate legal counsel or whatever the case may be, and you remember your integrity and your dignity, keep it intact. Don't sink to the level of this energy, if that is the case for you. Now, where you can be more vulnerable. Okay. So we have the Nine of Swords, clarifying the Hermit. Well, actually, they came out together. They came out together because these are from the same deck. So I kept them together, even though to me they are very similar energies. Both of these cards can speak to experiencing a dark night of the soul, which, and that kind of bounces off that devil energy right there. It's a very sort of life-changing, life-shattering experience that one goes through. It can be a very, very deep, dark depression, very, you know, incessant anxiety. But going through it leads to a wisdom. It leads to a deeper understanding of, well, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I think it's different for everyone, for every, you know, experience. So I don't want to necessarily box it in for you, but a deeper understanding of life, of yourself, of, you know, what you're capable of, your strength. I'm getting emotional because it's heavy energy to think about in that way. On a lighter note, this could just be dealing with a lot of anxiety and going through a very stressful situation that's kept you up all night and day, you know, stressing out, having nightmares, what have you, and the wisdom that you've gained through that. You know, maybe it wasn't debilitating, maybe you weren't, you know, drunk and crying on the floor, or begging for, you know, a higher power, what have you. Maybe it was just something very stressful that you came out the other side of and gained wisdom from. And I feel like this is going to be a little different for everyone, depending on where you're at in this situation, whether or not you're in it now. And I don't mean to laugh at you, just make a little nervous thinking about that. I hope you're not. Or if you've already been through this and come out the other side, I feel like the key here for being more vulnerable, either way, is to be honest about what you're actually going through and reclaiming the strength and wisdom that you have come to see in yourself because of that situation, right? Don't necessarily, you know, go around and tell everybody about it and seek sympathy, but I feel like being open about, you know, how strong you are, how, you know, how much endurance you actually have as a human being, and how much you've gotten out of this, whatever this is, the situation, you know, that likely no one should really have to go through, but so many do. I don't know if this is making any sense. But I feel like just being honest about where you're at, about how you were affected or how you are affected, and reclaiming where your strength lies within this experience. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that, but I will in a minute. So this part right here, the second to last card, is about where you can focus or where you should be swimming toward, right? Which direction should you be swimming in? In other words, what's a goal, or where can you shift your focus? Because another thing about Pisces is sometimes we are a little bit scattered. You know, we get very excited and inspired. We're very, creative, and we get all these ideas at once and we want to do them all, right? Sometimes. It's a very like ADHD type of energy sometimes. So sometimes we need focus. And sometimes, like I said, they swim in two different directions, the Pisces fish do, and sometimes they just need to come together and find common ground so that they can move, right? So the focus, Page of Swords. This is my card of like the investigator, the spy, the stalker perhaps, but it's also just curiosity and an eagerness to learn. Clarified by the Moon card, which was the only card that came out in reverse, and I was taking reversals, but none of the other ones came out in reverse. Only the Moon card, which I love because this is the card of seeking information, investigating, if you will, spying, whatever the case may be. And if you're in some kind of situation like this that feels very toxic and perhaps abusive and controlling and potentially dangerous, you might need to spy. And the Moon card in reverse tells me that if you focus on that area, all the illusions, the lies, the deception, the things you don't see that are lurking in the dark will come to light because it's in reverse. So whatever that may be for you, whatever you feel like you need to investigate, whatever you feel like you have a curiosity about that might be lurking. I mean, and this could be within yourself as well, right? Maybe there's some repressed emotions. The Moon card can also talk about emotions. It's a Pisces card, which is another funny thing because the Hangman is a Pisces card as well, and they both came out in this reading for the Pisces new moon. Just checking to see if we got any other Pisces cards. We didn't. So yeah. It could be an aspect of yourself that you just want to explore more, that you want to investigate, that you have curiosity about. Like, could be shadow work. It could be another person and their motives and maybe what they've been up to with this sort of Seven of Swords, Knight of Pentacles energy. So, but whatever it is that you feel the need to investigate, whatever it is you feel like you don't know that you need to know, if you put your focus into it, you will know it. You will find it. You will get the answers that you're looking for. And I will just leave it up to your interpretation. Now, my final card that I added to this spread, I called the light bulb, which I called it that because I keep seeing images and representations, actually, yeah, like representations and images. I was going to say not so much the word light bulb, but I keep seeing light bulbs. Light bulbs. The image of a light bulb. And what I think is very interesting is right before the light bulbs started, I was seeing lightning. Very similar, right? Similar entities, the light bulb and lightning. And I'm not going to go into all the different symbolisms, but they can both represent, like a breakthrough or something coming to light, a sudden realization, something shocking, something sudden. I don't know. But I find that very interesting because I was seeing lightning and the word lightning and pictures of lightning and different occurrences of lightning. I had a dream. The first thing was a dream. And then it was just everywhere. And the light bulb, I don't even remember where that first came in. Sorry. But it doesn't matter. I saw light bulbs enough to where I was like, what is this? What's going on? What is this about? And the last thing I'll say about that, that I find very interesting, is the aspect of light coming up upon the new moon. Because the new moon is dark. It's the darkest moon. It's the darkest point of the moon cycle. It's when the moon, is a shadow. And then from there it builds up to the full moon, to full brightness. So anyway, I won't waste your time watching me contemplate the full extent of the meaning of that. I'll continue to do that myself. But I decided to add that to this reading because I thought it fit in. Not to mention, I think it fits in with Pisces energy as well. And I wish the High Priestess would have come out, because that to me is the quintessential Pisces card, the High Priestess. Because just like the two fish that represent Pisces, that go back and forth in both directions, the High Priestess, so too, goes back and forth in dimensions, right? From like the spirit realm to the real world. She's a conduit. Anyway, and she shines light. She shares information. She shares divine secrets. She's the keeper of divine secrets. So, without further ado, the light bulb. That was my question. What is the light bulb? What will be revealed at this time? And I got the 8 of Cups. So, either you or someone, and it kind of fits with the energy I'm feeling here for some of you, you or someone is walking away from a situation that no longer serves you. With the 8 of Cups here, you've invested quite a lot of your time, of your energy, of your emotions, your hopes and dreams perhaps, and you are choosing to walk away. In some cases, this can just simply be a move, because it represents walking away from what you've always known. So, depending on who you are and your age, you could be leaving home for the first time. And, maybe moving across country, what have you. But it's definitely a card of sort of a light and dark to it, like a bittersweet energy, because it's also a card about not settling. This person here, whoever, you or somebody else, has decided that this 8 Cups here isn't good enough, because in the tarot there are 10 cups. 10 is the completion. So he's decided to walk toward his 9 of Cups. Hopefully he'll eventually get to his 10 of Cups, but the 8 of Cups just isn't doing it for him anymore. So you and or somebody is walking away from such a situation where they don't feel fulfilled, or you don't feel fulfilled, and you're inevitably heading into, well, the unknown. There's another aspect, so that can be scary. That can be anxiety producing. And it could make you overly emotional as well, because you don't really know. I mean, look at what's ahead of him. It's like a mountain, and the moon is, you know, kind of ominously hanging in the balance. It's a little nerve-wracking. But the truth is that he's headed toward more. He's headed toward better, because he's decided not to settle. And I clarified that, and I got the Five of Wands and the Emperor. So I could go a few different ways on this. It could be that whoever's walking away isn't going to have such an easy time doing so. They're going to have to fight their way out. This could be you. This could be somebody else. Take it however it makes sense for you. But there could be drama involved. I mean, maybe it's not a fight or a battle necessarily. This could be just drama. But something tells me it's not going to be so easy. And then we have the Emperor. So this drama could be with another person. This is Aries energy. It doesn't have to be. None of these signs that I called out here have to mean anything. It's just a possibility. But the Emperor is also like the divine masculine energy. He's the patriarch. So this could represent a father, or the father of your children perhaps, or it could be you. You don't have to be a man, or you don't have to be masculine to embody the Emperor. It could just also represent you fighting for control over your own life, over your own path, over where you're going. And like I said, like if you're a younger person, maybe you want to leave the family home. Maybe you have to fight, you know, maybe you have a father who doesn't want that to happen. Maybe you're going to have to battle a little bit for it so that you can be your own emperor, so that you can take charge. But like I said, for some people, I feel like this could be you taking charge, you know, gaining control, or there could be a power struggle with another person. So that, for the purposes of this reading, was the light bulb and what's coming to light at this time. So I don't know how that's going to resonate for you specifically, but hopefully, if you do have to battle with another person, or if there is going to be some drama or a fight coming up for you to get your fulfillment in life, maybe that's a heads up. So I'm going to leave it there, as usual. A little emotional. Not sunshine and rainbows. But that is what came out today. So finally, and I'm hoping this will be a little more sunshine and rainbows, I'm going to pull from this deck. I just got it. I'm obsessed. It's Believe in Your Own Magic. Believe in Your Own Magic. I don't know why I can't talk today. I'm tongue-tied. I think it doesn't matter. I was trying to think of where Mercury was and where the moon was at this moment. I think Aquarius. Mercury. I don't know where Mercury is, but anyway. Believe in Your Own Magic. Artwork is by Janina Medeiros, and the deck is Amanda Lovelace. Or Lovelace. I don't know. So I'm going to try to pull from here, and like I said, bear with me. This is why I do not shuffle on camera. In fact, I'm going to give myself more room by moving this over or forward or something. also isn't a very thick deck. It's kind of thin, which isn't ideal for me, but I already tested out how to shuffle it, and this seems to be the best way. Got it. Nice. This is perfect. It's the shark card, and it says, swim away from this situation. I love it. You can't even make this up. Two fish, well, a shark and a fish, right? Pisces, new moon. Swim away from this situation. I would tend to agree for some of you, for sure. So the book says, card number 35, that might be significant to some of you. It says, think of this as the Lovers reversed from traditional tarot. You've been hanging around a bloodthirsty shark and they've hurt you before. This could refer to a lover, or it could refer to another loved one, such as a friend or family member. To put it simply, you deserve better treatment, and you're never going to find it with them. Leave now. Situations like this often grow so dire that you no longer feel safe swimming away. Guys. Ooh. I mean, I'm used to it happening, but wow. Not only does that resonate with the reading, I feel. 8 of Cups, I just said that. You're leaving. You're going away. You're not settling. I'm dying. In this situation, exactly what I was feeling. It does not feel very safe to me. For someone or some people. And it's Pisces new moon. It's Pisces season. And we just got the shark card with the fish, the mermaid. How cool is that? Okay, well, I hope whoever needs to hear this hears it. And I hope it helps. Be safe. And I will see you next time.